over the years, I tried to apply all the information that you kind of convey to us. But in the application, it seems to not really be the way that you're trying to convey to us. So I would just like to talk about some of those things.
We're just going to add one quick statement, and that is because in the application there's often so much specific effort. And as we begin to find more general feelings, the effort then is inspired. Will be very brief. It's like, I know what I want to accomplish in terms of how I want to feel. So I'll offer this effort in order to try to get there. But in the effort, there's enough wild goose chasing going on and enough activating of enough different vibrations that it prevents me from getting to where I want to be. Everything that everyone wants, no matter what it is, a material object, a state of being, a pile of money, a relationship, a circumstance, a company, no matter what anybody wants, it is because they believe in the having of the details of that they will feel better. If we can convince you, and you can find a way of applying it, that you can accomplish the feeling without the evidence that supports it, it's a sort of faith-based reaching for an emotion, that in the conjuring of the emotion, then the grid fills in with the details. So in order to really lay a basis for this conversation that we're going to have as you ask the details that are queued up and are important, this is the picture that we want you to visualize. Everything that you want has been assembled, and it is in a vibrational form, and it's ready to manifest for you. But you have to prepare the environment for the manifestation, and that environment is a perceptual environment that allows the matching of the vibration of the vortex. Now friends, this is a leading edge conversation, because all this stuff that you see that you think is reality is a perceptual thing as you are translating vibration, and you are translating the vibration through your belief system. Esther was on the airplane coming into San Antonio last weekend, and she had been gone for several days, and as the airplane was approaching the airport, she began to think about where she'd left the car in the parking garage at the airport, which made her think about the parking ticket that she had tucked into her wallet in the very special little outside pocket that only contains that. So she reached for her purse, and she reached in for the parking ticket, which she believed she needed to get the car out of the garage, and it wasn't there. And she thought, it's always there. That's always where I put it. It's where it's been. I've noticed that it was there. How could it not be there? And she felt a little alarm about not being able to find the ticket. So she opened it wide and looked, and it clearly was not there. And it was inconceivable to her that it was not there. So she had a rather orderly purse. She keeps things in specific places in it. So she sat there and just sort of methodically began looking through this little pocket. She took a fistful of receipts out and just sifted through them one by one and then replaced them. And then she took the bills out of her wallet and sifted through them one by one and then replaced them. And then she took the tissue out of her purse and looked through it, and everything in her purse was in order, and the ticket was not there. So she put her wallet back in her purse and put it back on the floor under the seat. And now she is thinking, well, what is my next plan? And then she thought, well, I suppose if I just let them know that this is the day I flew out and that my car has been parked there ever since that day, they will just charge me the maximum for those days and all will be well. It's only about money. They will not hold my car hostage. And so then she thought, I will find the paperwork that shows what day I flew out of the San Antonio airport. So she reached for her purse, put it in her lap, unzipped the purse, took the wallet out of the purse in preparation to look through that section of her purse where that was. And there was the parking ticket laying right there under her wallet. It was so startling, she screamed. It was like a snake had sneaked in and was waiting to bite her on the nose. She could not believe that it was there. So what are the dynamics of that? In other words, what's going on? We want you all to know that everything that you call reality is a perceptual thing. And that as you're trying to explain reality through the lens of others, that sometimes you deprive yourself of a reality that is even more pointedly, specifically beneficial to you. That all things are possible, and that what you are calling your reality is a perceptual thing, even as you are moving things around your time-space reality and keeping track of them. That everything that you perceive is a vibration that, yes, has a tremendous amount of stability. Yes, it does, because many of you have come to perceive things in similar ways. And we could talk all this day and hundreds of days beyond this about that subject only, and you would perhaps get only a little bit clearer about the reality of things and how things come to be. But let it just be said that everything is perceptual. And that when you have this vortex that is full of the vibrational version of everything that you want is ready to fill in with your grid, but it fills into a reality that you perceive. And what you want and your belief about it equals the perception that allows it to manifest in a way. Now, many of you are saying, and the thing that trips you up is that there are so many things that you agree upon. In other words, Barbara was sitting next to Esther during that entire process. Barbara watched Esther go methodically through her purse. And so Barbara had the same experience that Esther had when suddenly that parking ticket was there. There was no way of logically explaining why it came back into their perception, other than, we would say in general terms, you cannot find something that is lost. And the more Esther decided that it was lost, the more stubborn the ticket was in appearing in her experience. It's true of everything, you see. Everything is that way. So, did it actually dematerialize? Did it actually change its vibrational form and make itself invisible to Esther? Yes, it did. Did it actually then rematerialize and make itself available? Yes, it did. We are not kidding you about that. Everything is that way. Your vortex is full of things you cannot see that will materialize and dematerialize and materialize and dematerialize depending upon what you've got going on vibrationally. This is leading edge conversation. This is manifestation 101. This is how things come into your experience, because everything, we'll just make a very clear statement, everything that is a manifestation is a perceptual thing. Every manifestation that you witness is a perceptual thing. So when we say to you that you can be or do or have anything, if you would just for a little while, we're saying this to all of you, if you would just for a little while, let it be between you and your ability to perceive it, and not care about involving other people to witness your manifestations, you will discover that the universe has the ability to yield to you anything that you desire in much fuller and faster fashion when you leave what feels like the necessary acknowledgement or perception of others out of the equation. So you got to find a way. What faith is belief in the success without the evidence. And you say, yeah, but this sucks because this
I
lack
took
of evidence.
everything I had, Abraham, everything.
So keep arguing for it.
I'm not arguing for it. I'm just tired.
We know you're tired, but we are infusing you. You see, we've given you in this little bit of conversation enough focus, enough knowledge, and enough energy to have launched this thing into the next 15 generations.
So, can you give me some advice then?
But our energy to it, when you've got the door closed, just causes an irritating experience for you. You got to open that door.
I don't know what next step to do.
Say again?
I don't know what next step. Any advice other than leap of faith hasn't.
No, we don't want you to leap. We don't want you to leap into faith. We want faith to be.
Everybody is talking. You guys are talking blind faith. That doesn't work. Blind faith is religion.
Blind faith is not needing to see it or hear it or smell it or taste it or touch it in order to know it. Blind faith is a subtle discerning of energy that all masters accomplish. Because if you need to interpret through your eyes something that is not yet manifested, it can never come. But if you can feel the existence of it in its vibrational form and know it and feel satisfaction in the vibrational form of it, then it will fill in with seeable, smellable, tasteable, touchable reality.
Well, all I can say is I'm never throwing this away, even though everybody tells me to. I look at it every day.
You cannot cease to want what you've wanted. And for someone to say to you, not understanding what you put into the vortex, oh, you've devoted your life to this becoming, and now because it hasn't come to manifestation yet, it's not ever going to be, and you should let go of that idea. They do not understand the power of the vortex. They do not understand that once you put it there, it's an eternal thing that you must come into alignment with in order to find your well-being. This is what you're actually saying to us. Abraham, I've created something magnificent and I've put it into my vortex and I haven't figured out how to let it flow into my grid yet. And I am really irritated that I haven't figured out how to let it flow into my grid yet. But in your words, I'm never letting go of my desire. And in our words, of course you're not, because we're standing here tending it, offering a signal about it. You can never let go of that which you have become. You have no choice other than to allow what you have created to flow fully into your experience if you are to have joy, you see. You have no choice. So your stubbornness is well noted. Your stubbornness is understood by us. Your stubbornness is applauded by us. We just want you to be stubborn about holding to the idea, not stubborn about holding to the resistance about the idea. There's a big difference, you see.
Well, then, can you send me some gift?
Say again?
Can you send me some gift, some direction in the foreseeable future, which direction to proceed?
Yes. We're going to ask you some questions and we're going to give you some things to say behind us. Do I believe that I'm the creator of my own reality? Say that.
Do I believe I'm the creator of my own reality?
Now answer it.
Yes, I do.
Is this environment in which I am focused? We'll ask the questions and you can just answer. Is this environment in which I'm focused causing me to reach into new thought?
Yes.
And creation?
Absolutely.
And manifestation?
Yes.
Does everything that comes into manifested reality exist in vibrational form first?
I would think so.
You're right.
I don't know.
You're right. Everything that eventually manifests is in a vibrational version first. Can I trust, Abraham, my inner being, to tend to my creation while I prepare myself to allow it?
Yes.
You mean it?
Actually, I'm hoping daily that something will show up.
But you're hoping for the manifestation. That this question precedes that, and it's the key.
Just some.
Wait. It's the key. It's the key. We know. Esther says to Jerry, I want to see you. And he says, I'm dead. I'm no longer in my physical body. Esther said, I know. But do you realize how much I miss you? Feel me, he says. Feel me. Don't need to see me. Feel me. Feel me. Know me. Feel me. Feel the existence of me. Feel the existence of me. And Esther says, blink the light. Blink the light. If you'll blink the light, I'll believe you're real. If you'll blink the light, she knows he's real. If you'll blink the light, I will then believe you're listening to me right here and now. So blink it now, 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 blink it now. What do you think happens with the light?
That would
no
be nice.
blinky.
It would be
It
nice.
would be nice. It would be nice if Jerry would support Esther's erroneous thought that will never get her anywhere and that will defy the laws of the universe as we have taught them and prevent her from understanding the relationship that she now has with him. So these are the things that we know. We know that you've spent a lot of time creating something and putting it into your vortex. And we know that there have been times of great enthusiasm as you put them there. And we know that there is a culmination that has amassed, that is of a vibrational frequency that is ready for manifestation. Not just the creation of the concept, but the launching of it into full reception by your planet at large. In other words, that's the creation that we're talking about. That is in the vortex, and that has amassed to the place that when you let it in, it will please you. But there's another creation that you've been creating right alongside with that, that's even more important. It's even more important than the invention itself, and that is your understanding of how you fit into all of this.